Good morning, friends. Today we're going to read a story called Lucky Pennies and Hot Chocolate. It's right here. This is a book that I bought when my daughter Guinevere, who's 16-year-old, was just a tiny baby. And in it you'll see, what do you see there? I see an older man and a little kid. And you can just assume from the cover that this is a grandpa and their little boy. This is by Carol Diggory Shields, illustrated by Hiro Nakata. Let's see who the publisher is. Dutton Children's Books of New York. Just going to dig right into this. Eventually today, we are going to go ahead and fill in this rainbow. As I'm reading this, I'm going to be thinking about some important people to me, who's important to me, who's a special person to me. And then we're going to do a little bit of writing today. I don't have a worksheet to go with this one. You're going to make your own worksheet to go with this one. So, and this is a note to parents. If you're doing this one, you may need to help to make the rainbow lines wide enough for your child to write in. And this can be modified for older students to be challenged to add adjectives or active verbs in it. And for all the way down to kindergarten, they can just write a word that describes the person. But since I'm a second grade teacher, we're going to be working on sentences and including capitals and periods and writing a complete sentence for each of the colors of the rainbow. And there are 7 colors in a rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So that's 7 colors. And so we're going to be thinking of 7 things. When you come down to it, that's actually a lot of things to write about one person, believe it or not. So as I read the story, I actually have a clipboard over here. And I'm going to keep track of the people that I can think of. And already I thought of one person, because what's the first thing I said about this story? I bought this story when my daughter, who's 16-year-old, is a baby, and her name is Guinevere. And so I'm going to write her name right here, first thing. And as soon as I think of Guinevere, I also think of Jude. Jude is my 12-year-old son. So I already have 2 people on my list that I'm thinking of who are very special people to me. I'll put my clipboard down, and I'll put my glasses on. Whoops, not upside down. Put my glasses on, and let's read. Lucky Pennies and Hot Chocolate. In loving memory of my brother Mark, and to my grandparents, S.H. and F.H. My favorite person in the world is coming for a visit. I have a whole bunch of new knock-knock jokes for him. This is funny because on the last day of school that we had, my students and I were telling knock-knock jokes. Knock, knock, who's there? Need a tish. Need a tissue. Why? Is your nose running? Knock, knock, who's there? Wooden shoe. Wooden shoe who? Wouldn't shoe like to know? The wooden shoe. Get it? Ha ha ha. Knock, knock, who's there? I wub. I wub who? I wub oo too. Knock, knock, who's there? Lettuce. Lettuce who? Let us in. It's freezing out here. One of our favorite jokes, one of my favorite knock, knock jokes is because they kind of catch fire in class and people can't stop telling them, is knock, knock, who's there? Lettuce. Lettuce who? Let us be done telling knock, knock jokes. So this is the last page for knock, knock jokes. My son is really funny. He likes to tell a lot of jokes too. I can't wait to show him that huge hole they've dug down the street. I like to watch big machines moving the earth and doing their jobs. If we see a penny, we always stop and pick it up. Heads up means a lucky penny. So these are all the reasons why this person loves and thinks this other person is special. Back home, we'll make some lunch. I like crunchy, he likes creamy, but we're both peanut butter nuts. We love hot chocolate with as many marshmallows as we want. Jude and I like chai tea together. Guinevere likes hot chocolate. Mr. Littlejohn likes peppermint tea, and he likes coffee. And so I should probably write Mr. Littlejohn on here because he's a really special person to me too. Mr. LJ. So I've added him to my list of people who are special to me. We do the dishes, and then it's time for dominoes. I hate to lose. Come on, just one more game. Oh, you know who we play dominoes with? We play dominoes with my mom and dad. My kids call them Mimi and Baba. So I'm gonna write Mom and Dad. My mom and dad live in Idaho, so they live several hours away. Sorry, my hair got stuck to my chapstick. Does that ever happen to you? And it tickles? Sometimes we have to go to something fancy. I can't stand getting dressed up in scratchy new clothes. And I don't like to eat funny looking food. I think everybody goes through phases where they don't like to eat certain kinds of foods. That's pretty normal, but it's important to try them, right? We like driving around with the top down, even when it's freezing. I have a knee that's hurt now, but Guinevere and I used to go running all the time together. We used to do half marathons, and it was so fun. Even when it was rainy, we'd go out and run, because when you run for that long, a half marathon is 13 miles. When you run for that long, you get very warm, even when it's very cold out. We can't wait to be back home, take off our shoes, and get comfy on the couch. Maybe we'll watch a movie, as long as it's not too talky or too kissy. My family likes to watch kind of spooky things, or we like to watch things that are like fantasy, like The Hobbit, or watching, what else do we like to watch? I'm trying to think. Of course, nothing's coming to my mind right now. Miyazaki things. We love Hayao Miyazaki. Or we'll read a good book. We like this one best. We've read it about 200 times. My family has read a book called So Say the Little Monkeys over and over, so that we all know it really well. If it's noisy, thundery night, it's nice to have your favorite person with you. Yeah, your favorite person might be somebody you feel really safe with. I like getting up early in the morning when the day smells new. I invented new pancake recipe to try out. Super scrumptious banana raisin marshmallow surprise pancakes. I think he'll like them. That reminds me of Jude. He always says, I'm going to make a new recipe. And making a new recipe when he was little just meant mixing up foods that were on his plate and taking one bite of it. And he'd say, that's good, or that's not good. Usually he thought it was good. After breakfast, we'll go out and play some ball. My Dipsy Doodle double curve fastball is famous. You never know where it's going to go. We've always got a project to work on. I like taking things apart and putting them back together, good as new, but I don't like cleaning up afterward. I have to say, that kind of reminds me of Mrs. Nickel a little bit. I'm going to put her on here because she's one of my special, important people. Mrs. Nickel and I, we like to start a project, but then the cleanup, sometimes we wait until the next day to clean it up. We have that in common. Here's what I like. I like lucky pennies, hot chocolate, and knock-knock jokes. And snuggling, it looks like, too. And my grandson does, too. One of the things I love about this story is the first time I read it, I thought it was the grandson talking about his special person, and then his grandpa came over. But this is actually told from the perspective of the grandparent, which I think is really lovely. Because grandparents and parents, we love our kids too. Ooh, I have a whole list of people now to think about who I'm going to fill in my rainbow about. Who do I have a lot to say about? You know, when I look at this, all of these people are really special to me. But when I think about it, I look at those top three, and those are the three I have the most to say about because I live with those people. So I think I'm going to pick one of those. And do you want to know a secret? Yesterday, I wrote about Jude, but the movie didn't work. And so today I think I'm going to write about Guinevere, to kind of even it out. Because if you're a kid that has more than one kid in your house, then you know if your mom picked one of you, you'd want to be, and you weren't the one that was picked, you'd want to be the one that was picked the next day. Am I right? Yeah, and so I will even it out by writing about Guinevere today. But I'll show you underneath here, I have the one that I wrote about Jude yesterday from the movie that didn't work. I'm going to move this up. Sorry, it's gonna chatter a little bit. And then I'm gonna push this down so you can see my whole rainbow. And you're gonna see less of me at this point. You're gonna see more of the rainbow as I'm doing the writing project. So that's about what your rainbow should look like when you're finished with it. You, when you're all done with it, can color it, because I have to tell you, as a mom, if one of my kids made one of these for me, I would be very flattered and very excited about it. Whoops, I'm kneeling on my dog's little bunny so my knee doesn't get hurt. There we go. Now you can see all 7 colors. I don't know if you know this, but in a rainbow, it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. If you ever have a hard time remembering what the order is, you can just remember this name, Roy G. Biv. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And those are all the colors that are in the rainbow. And if you know me, then you know that I love rainbows. When you walk into my classroom, what do I have in the alcove? A big, huge rainbow. They're just so bright and beautiful, and I just love them. So I'm gonna write about Guinevere. And so the first thing I'm gonna do, since it's all about her, is I'm gonna write her name in here. If you've ever heard me talk about Guinevere, I sometimes call her Gigi, and that's spelled like this. But this is the name most people call her, is Guinevere. And now I'm just going to fill in with my sentences, of the different things that I'm going to say about her. So right here, we don't run together anymore because I have a funky knee, but we do dance together sometimes. She still goes and runs by herself, and I really miss that. But when I get to dance with her, I love it. And so I'm just going to say, working out is important to both of us. And this is a capital right here. So each of your sentences needs to have a capital, and at the end, you need to make sure and put that period. And friends, I have an important thing to tell you is all the teachers at Oak Heights Elementary, they all say, I wish everybody would use capitals and periods. So this is great practice for that, no matter if you're in 1st grade or 6th grade. Another thing that we both share is we are both excited about sewing. Guinevere makes dresses that she actually wears, and I sew books. I make books, and so I use my sewing machine to put the pages together. Has a capital and a period, just making sure I have all of that. Another thing that we love is we agree that snuggling is a great start to every day. In the morning, every single day. I leave the house at 7 o'clock, and so does she. So she comes and gets in bed with me at a certain time every morning that's going to allow her still to get ready and me to get ready and get out the door at the same time. But every single day we snuggle. The other thing, oh my gosh, I have a capital. What's missing? How many of you that was bugging you? I'm glad you caught that. Sometimes Guinevere. Did you notice that I put a capital G there? Anytime there's a name, it gets that's right, a capital. Sometimes Guinevere and I, and when I stands alone, it also gets a capital. Sometimes Guinevere and I just like to talk for hours. She's one of my best friends now that she's getting older and older, and we have a lot to say to each other. Ooh, I don't know if you know this, but my family, we're kind of Disney nuts. We go to Disneyland a lot, and our favorite ride is the Little Mermaid ride. Just Guinevere and I, and so the first time we go on that, every time we go to Disneyland, Guinevere and I sit together because it's a special ride for us. We both love and did you see I'm capitalizing that? Here we have another name. Little Mermaid. So that's the title of the ride.